It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazaway. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go! Wednesday show, November 15th, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com, and the Fox Local app if you are watching live. If you're watching on YouTube, we say hello. Hit the subscribe button and like the show here on YouTube. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon to you too, my good friend. Good day. Nice outside.
Oh, my God. What do you mean nice day, good day?
Hey, man, I was thinking about
gorgeous.
You almost lost me to golfing today, man.
Oh,
you
my
guys,
gosh.
You guys almost lost me to a good golf round, but, you know, it's one of those situations where I said, I got to come to work because I got to talk about Draymond.
I went home in between jobs today, and I drove down 94. There were golfers out there at Chandler Park today.
Tomorrow's supposed to be 60. Like, tomorrow I got invited to golf too, man. Like, these are those couple of days that happen, you know what I'm saying? You get about 4 or 5 good ones in November, and you get that random 1 or 2 good ones in December. So you got to have your golf clubs in the trunk, and you got to be ready to rock and roll.
To the man that hates golf, Tom Mazaway.
Despise it.
Why do you despise
What's your
golf
problem
so
with
much?
golf, Maz?
It's just not for me.
Every golfer's not in shape. I remember.
But you know what? It's good. You know what? They treat my kids good. The
There
kids
you go.
are caddies, and they're good people. All right, I got nothing against
All
anybody.
presidents golf.
I just
There
don't
you
like
go.
that you guys get to skip out and go play golf instead of coming to work like me.
truth-
That's really what I really don't like about
comes
it.
out.
That's really what I don't like about
But
it.
I'm working though. I'm working for the company. You know, I'm trying to build new
But I
sponsorships.
don't care
trying
about
to build
building.
new
Don't build.
sponsorships. I'm trying to bring new people.
No,
into
no,
the
don't
fold.
build. Just come
trying
on.
to get the word
Don't
about
build.
Woodward
Just
sports.
come on
You know
in.
what?
Come on, man. This is what we do.
You know what
Come
it's
on in.
like? You ever work with a smoker? Now, I was a smoker for 20 years.
Smoke breaks.
I haven't met a smoker in a long time.
Yeah, I was a smoker for 20 years. I quit
Tony Paul.
I quit 5 years ago. The amount of smoke breaks you would go take at work was like insane.
I bet.
Now, to the non-smoker, you're like, we
Just keep leaving.
what about? Do I get like 10 minutes every half hour?
I go in the car and nod off a little.
Right? You know, it's just one of those things.
You're not getting it.
Oh man, best decision I ever made was to quit smoking.
That is your best
Yeah,
decision.
it is.
You can't tell me you don't feel better about it in the wintertime.
Oh gosh,
Having to go outside.
no doubt. Nasty. What a nasty habit.
Yeah.
Guys, big show for you today coming up. Top of hour number 2. We'll check in with the voice of the Detroit Lions. Dan Miller will join us as he does each and every Wednesday at top of hour number 2. We'll talk to intern Alex. Wolverine Wednesdays here in about 90 minutes. In 30 minutes, we'll talk to Matt Broder. From Woodward Knights, our Lions beat reporter who is in contact with the Big Ten and has some news regarding Tony Petitti and Jim Harbaugh, and he'll share some of the conversation he had with us.
He's
with
got some
somebody
lawyer knowledge too.
in the Big Ten office. But Bray, I'd like to start with the college football playoff rankings. They were out last night. There is a change at the top. It is Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, and then everything else fell in line. Michigan was 3, Florida State was 4. You have the 2 Pac-10 teams on the outside looking in, Washington and Oregon 5 and 6. Texas is there at 7, and Alabama at 8. Now I think Alabama is one of the best 4 teams in the country right now.
Yeah.
That'll play itself out. Texas, pretty good themselves. The Pac-10 is interesting, Washington and Ohio State, but Michigan at number 3.
Michigan is number 3, but the thing I don't like about what I saw last night is the first thing that they say when they come on. Obviously the College Football Playoffs Committee, it's on ESPN. The first team that gets mentioned, Ryan Ermanni, was Alabama. And that may not mean much to much people, but it just has me laughing about the agenda. Paul Feinbaum, who works with the SEC, has legitimately talked about Michigan and why Harbaugh should get suspended and all the other stuff for literally 3 weeks. The first thing they talk about is Alabama, another SEC team, as they rank Georgia number 1 overall. Who deserves to be 1? I have no problem with that. They're trying to slide Alabama back up that list. They're trying to sneak Alabama back into the fold, but that's neither here nor there. As it relates to Michigan and this how it plays out, fine. There's nothing. It's nothing Michigan can do at this point, so it doesn't matter to the game till the week from this coming Saturday.
There's like 7 college football polls, rankings. This is the only one that has Ohio State ranked above Michigan. It is so weird. Now, it doesn't, man. Look, it'll play itself out. It does. I used to get all up in arms over the rankings, who's 1, who's 2. You realize this all does settle itself out. I mean, if you're a Washington fan right now, you're sitting there, you look like you're you think you're one of the best teams in the country. You think you're better than Florida State. You might think you're better than Michigan or Ohio State. Go beat Oregon State on the road this week. Oregon State is a favorite in that game this week against Washington, believe it or not.
They're number 11, I see.
But there is one team on there, Ryan and Ermanni, that it won't play itself out for, and that's Texas. You look at Texas right now. They beat Alabama. At Alabama. That's their best win right now. They only have 1 loss. Texas is number 7. If they win out, if they win their division, if they beat Oklahoma when they face each other in the Big 12 championship, they'll still have 1 loss. They could still not get in because you can still have 4 undefeated Power 5 conferences in front of them. So that's one way they won't get in. 2, Texas won't get in, even if they win out, is if Oregon beats Washington. Right now, Oregon has a loss, and they are still ranked ahead of Texas, who beat Alabama, which is absurd to me. So if Oregon were to beat Washington, Texas still wouldn't get in. Like it's a possible way where Texas can win the Big 12 with 1 loss, beat Oklahoma, and still not get into the college playoffs.
See, I disagree with that because
I just listened to Joe Klett talk about it.
I don't see a scenario. Texas is one of those teams like Michigan or Notre Dame.
But the committee is letting you they're letting you know how they feel about Texas right now. Right now, Texas should be 6 based on the fact that they're leading their division. I'm just telling you, Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, Washington, if they go undefeated, Texas won't get in because they have a loss.
Well, if they go undefeated, sure.
The next one, Georgia, Florida State, Michigan, and then say Oregon beats Washington. Oregon with 1 loss will be the Pac-12 champ. They would get in over Texas because right now, currently, they're 2nd in the Pac-12 and they're ranked ahead of Texas. So they wouldn't get in that scenario either.
Well, I'll tell you, the best thing for Florida State right now is if Louisville keeps winning games, because I could see a scenario where a 1-loss Texas team or a 1-loss Oregon team jumps an unbeaten Florida State team, but that Louisville situation, the fact that Louisville is a top 10 team in this country with a 1 loss
helps out.
Absolutely benefits Florida State because those two will meet up in the ACC championship game. And Florida State, I think, not only has to win that game, but they have to win in convincing fashion. I'm surprised that Florida State is still number 4. They're okay.
Yeah.
They just look okay.
They're still riding that LSU win at the beginning of the season. That was a big win for them at the beginning of the season. They're just riding that high.
And again, that win, Bray, that's the thing about this. I mean, if Washington goes on to lose a couple of games here in a row, will an Oregon win in the Pac-12 championship look like this great win anymore? You know, they're going to play Oregon State this week. If they lose that game and then they go lose to Washington State for the final time,
they have 2 losses, so they're not getting in with 2 losses.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So even right now, where it says that Oregon has better wins and looks better than Texas.
Right.
But at the end of the season, in the totality of the season, we'll see where it plays out. These rankings, to me, are totally pointless, and it looks. This is great for college football moving forward because I can totally see a 12-team playoff just being everything next year. Yeah. This is a team where the number 12 team in the country, well, not this year's 12th team in the country, not Penn State. But I can see a scenario where 8 or 9 goes and knocks somebody off.
It's still so crazy that I feel like everybody this whole season, all the playoff polls, I think everybody has talked about Washington and Oregon. We definitely value Washington. We talked about them being the best team in the country with Michael Penix. Oregon maybe be the most complete team, but it's showing you in the college football playoffs, they're showing you that they value them above the Big 12, but at the same time they value the Pac-12 above everybody else. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, right now, if these teams all played each other, if Georgia played Florida State, They'd probably be favored by 2 touchdowns.
At least.
Michigan's going to be favored by a touchdown over Ohio State. Washington against Oregon. Depends who's home. Washington probably will be a slight favorite in that game.
I think Oregon might.
You think?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't know.
Alabama? I think Washington's going to lose this week.
Okay.
DJ Uiagalelei.
We can keep guessing. What
Keep
if
going.
Michigan's.
What if Michigan barely beats Maryland and all the other teams around them win in big fashion? Do you think they move Michigan down for spite?
No.
If Michigan barely beats Maryland,
They're a 3-touchdown favorite.
yeah, they're 19-point favorites. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I just think that the committee, led by Paul Feinbaum from the outside
don't get
and
me started.
guys like him, would love to move Michigan out of that top 4 somehow, some way. That's just my take on it. I don't think anyone wants Michigan to be in that playoff.
They don't, but at the same time, that's too telling. Like, if they were to do something like that, if they were to move Michigan down to 4 or slap Michigan 5, that would be a little too telling, a little too egregious. Them being 3 is telling and egregious enough. I think if they were moving down to 4, if they move them down to 5, Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, that's just a little too much. It's like, all right, everyone now knows what you guys are trying to do.
I don't think it's fair to the other team, to the other teams if Michigan is not in the playoff. It was because in a world where Michigan is an undefeated Big Ten champion,
Yeah.
you can't tell me that eventual national champion would be a legitimate champion if Michigan is not involved some way, somehow.
How
in that
about how
playoff.
pathetic the Big Ten championship game is going to be?
I know.
That's pathetic.
I think I'm going to that.
It's a pathetic game.
Yeah, at least last year.
It is every year, though.
But this year's worse than
Give
ever.
a little excitement for a second.
This year will be the worst than ever.
Yeah.
You know what's worse than anything is I couldn't even tell you who's on the other side
Me
right
neither.
now. I couldn't even tell you.
Iowa, Wisconsin, and
I mean, is it going to be Iowa
Wisconsin,
again?
Minnesota.
As
of now.
I think it is going to be Iowa again.
Jesus.
It
They
is.
can't score 22
Oh yeah,
points.
God, it is Iowa.
Yep.
Iowa's 5-2, and then Northwestern, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Minnesota. The next 5 teams are 3-4,
Oh, God.
and then you've got Purdue at 2-5.
Iowa's got it locked.
Iowa is locked into the Big Ten championship game. Poor Cade McNamara and Eric All. That's all they wanted to do is
That would
play
have been,
against Michigan.
I would love to have seen it.
I would have loved to have seen it too, no doubt. Guys, John Harbaugh spoke yesterday about brother Jim Harbaugh. Tell you what he had to say there. Also, Michigan, Maryland this week. And Michigan, where are they in terms of winning the national championship? What do the Vegas odds makers say? We'll have that for you. Dan Miller coming up, top of hour number 2, talking Lions. But first, a message from Dispo.
Your local plug, Dispo Romeo, now open till midnight. Michigan's largest cannabis mall. 21 and up, you got to be recreational only. But outside of that, it's like walking into a kid in a candy store. They have all the highest brands you can come through, from Hyman to Runts. They got it all. Flower, cannabis, it doesn't matter. They got it, including oil. Come to Dispo Romeo, open till midnight.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
When buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. Sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty at all? That is exactly what Mark White and Associates is offering. It's called their minute-by-minute listing agreement by Mark White and Associates. Try Mark White's risk-free minute-to-minute listing agreement today. Looking to buy or sell real estate, visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. That number again, 248-290-8242. markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
Hey, but just before we get back into the Michigan, can I just do a quick humble brag for a moment?
Yeah, sure.
Yesterday,
Oh, I know what you're going.
I did you all a favor.
You going to the Maction?
I'm going to the Maction. I said it was very rarely do you see something out there where you're just like, this is an absolute lock of all locks. It was Bowling Green plus 10.5, I think, against Toledo. And
The Battle of I-75.
oh man,
They were up 28-3 at one point.
it was I couldn't believe it. I've covered this rivalry before. It's like a Michigan Ohio
Yeah.
State, a Duke North
They're
Carolina.
20 miles apart.
There is no reason that this spread was so big. So I just not watching a game at all, not watching one play of a Toledo or Bowling Green game this year, but knowing the history of the rivalry, that 10-point spread was just not going to happen. And Bowling Green was winning the whole game, lost in the last minute. 32-31 was the final. Bowling Green lost the game but did cover easily.
Poor Bowling Green.
Yeah.
Poor Pete Spivak was despondent.
Oh man, yeah. So
No way they should have lost that game.
Right. I didn't. I watched the first half. I saw 28-10.
You know,
I
Toledo's
went
trying to
bed
get a
early
real
last
bowl
night.
game. Toledo wants a New Year's bowl game.
Well, they're
They got
10-1, right?
Yeah, they got one loss.
They're 10-1.
They'll be at Ford Field for the MAC championship.
Love the Rockets.
Yeah, they're not getting anybody's New Year's one bowl.
Would you?
There's a rumor that they might.
What about?
But it's a lot of teams. It's a lot of teams in the top 12 that have one loss. So you can't jump those teams.
Do you know they have a rocket in front of their university?
Yeah.
Pointed. And at Bowling Green, that it would land on the 50-yard line if they had set it off.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Just a dumb question. Would you consider the Toledo coach for the Michigan State job?
Hell yeah.
I mean, I don't.
No.
Why? Urban Meyer was a MAC guy.
Yeah, 40 years ago. But right now, they're not in the situation.
20.
They're not in the situation.
3.
I was over exaggerating. They're not in the situation where they can just hire a cool coach that just won the Toledo Rockets, the MAC. They're in the situation they were dumpster fire before Mel Tucker got there. They're worse after Mel Tucker leaves. You can't just hire the next okay guy and you think, he had a good season or two. Maybe he can turn it around. You got to hire a guy that you know is coming in, that recruiting is going to change, NIL is going to change. You know the program is at least going to head in the right direction. You can't go to a guy like that. Where
Maybe you can't get that guy.
This is true, but you're gonna have to find. You're gonna have to get down a list and really look for some guys that can kind of change stuff up. Like we just saw the list of guys that are talking about potentially going to Texas A&M.
Right.
Why can't you have the same list these guys got?
Right.
You can't go for. And that's just me. Maybe I'm looking too small-minded. But I wouldn't go there when you got a lot of issues going on. You still got an interim president.
I mean, do you, for the Michigan State thing, because things got to happen pretty soon, you'd think. There's only 2 weeks left in the regular season, and then you see what happens after that. But coaches are going to start getting hired now. Chip Kelly at UCLA is a guy that is expected to get fired, I believe.
Yeah.
Maybe he's getting a bit of a raw deal. Fired? Can you imagine Chip Kelly potentially bringing Dante Moore with him to Michigan State?
Oh, wow.
You want to talk about...
There you go.
You want to talk about getting the wheel spinning
there you go.
on that. But Dante Moore, the 5-star, #1 quarterback recruit in the country last year.
He was in our studio.
A Detroit King guy, right?
Detroit King, and he definitely would be able to transfer. And if you think about it, he got benched this season. That's another reason why he has 6 quarterbacks on that staff right now. 6 quarterbacks on that doggone roster, so that could be one.
6 means you don't have any.
This is very true. And that's why I'm saying I don't understand how he's fired at 6-4. I'm never lobbying.
What do you mean I'm fired?
Never lobbying for coaches, but this one is a head scratcher. I mean, you got this is USC, this is UCLA. They're the smaller brand, maybe number 5 brand, college Pac-12 right now.
Guys, let me go back to the Michigan Wolverines for a second because yesterday, Jim Harbaugh's brother, spoke to the media in Baltimore yesterday. He was asked about if he's talked to his brother lately, and here's what he had to say about that.
John, off topic a little bit. When's the last time you spoke to your brother, and how'd that conversation go? And do you have any opinion of everything that he's dealing with and what's going on in Michigan?
Yeah, I've talked to him quite a bit. I have a lot of opinions on it, obviously. I'm his brother, and I'm proud as heck of him. I'm really impressed with the way he's handled himself through all this. I mean, it's been a long run, and about everything can be done to, his phones, his computers, and all that stuff have been looked at, and he's come through this thing with flying colors. And they really have, I don't know what they're trying to get, but they don't have anything of substance, and I just think I'm proud of him. I think it's a real compliment to our family and to him, something for us to be proud of, because as kids can see this, you get kind of in this kind of a situation where you come under fire for whatever reasons, and you come out in a really good place doing the right thing all the time. And I'm really proud of that, and I think it's great for our family and kids, and it's just a great blessing in that sense. He's a great man. He's a great coach. His players love him. His coaches love him. And he stands tall through all this.
I know you got to get through Thursday, but knowing the schedule and their schedule, will you see him Saturday? Do you have plans to go to the game? If this goes the way it went last week, would you watch it with him? How would
Yeah,
it go?
well, that's a lot of good questions. I don't know. Let's get through Thursday night and see where we're at. But I'll definitely be pulling for him and the whole team on Saturday for sure. But we're thinking about Thursday night, 100%.
It's a great point. I didn't consider the Ravens play on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Michigan in Maryland to play the Terrapins on Saturday. I'm doing it too. I feel like a lot of this is the ultimate troll job. They went to his phone. They went to his computer.
Yeah.
They didn't find anything of substance. They're standing tall. I freaking love it. I love it. It's like the ultimate troll job.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's, like you said, he went to his phone, they went to his computer. It is what it is. It's just something's going to happen Friday. And I think we see it, and Matt Broder would talk to, and we talked about on the show, I think Jamie kind of gave us some inkling yesterday. He said something's going to happen between Jim and Tony Petitti when they had these meetings, and maybe it can happen as soon as December, January, because some protocol wasn't followed, and I think somebody's getting axed, and I guarantee it's not coming down in Ann Arbor.
I talked to Charlie Langton a little bit about this today, our Fox 2 legal analyst, and I don't want to quote him, but I'll paraphrase for you. He said, "You absolutely get the TRO.
Yeah.
You absolutely get this, and Harbaugh will be allowed to coach on Saturday and beyond." It is extremely rare for you not to get something like that. So maybe we'll have Charlie on tomorrow.
You don't think?
You're getting fired,
Let me ask
bro.
you guys, really. Do you think Jim Harbaugh would ever step away if this thing gets out of hand?
No.
You asked me before. I said we talked to when Hondo came in studio.
Yeah.
I said absolutely not. I said because Hondo said he'd step away and he think he'd take the NFL job next season, and I said he wouldn't. One, not only is he stubborn, he doesn't think he's done anything wrong, and so far the NCAA has proved what he thinks about himself is not doing anything wrong. And when they lose the TRO on this Friday, and he coaches Maryland and he coaches Ohio State, I think it's one of those situations where he's laughing. Now he's laughing because he's had all of everybody around the country, including ESPN, the propaganda network that they are, Stephen A. Smith. You go down the list. You got all the coaches complaining, the Little 13, as Jamie illustrated yesterday. All of this has happened. Everybody's chirping. Everybody came over to, and to beat everybody and then potentially win the Big Ten and then go on to the semifinals and do all that. Why the hell would I go anywhere? I'm the most powerful man in college football at that point.
And I totally agree with that, Braylon. And anybody watch ESPN last night?
A little. I watch a little.
Okay. After the Michigan State Duke game,
Yeah.
you know who played?
Yeah, Kansas and
Kansas and Kentucky.
Oh, my
you know
God.
who's celebrated as the #1 team in the country and
Kansas.
the #1 coach in the country?
the cheaters.
Guy by the
Bill
name of Bill Self, who has been
I say it every day.
who has been the biggest cheat, the biggest allegedly, who has paid
A lot of people
players
say it, though.
allegedly, who has done some of the slimiest, nastiest things
5
allegedly
level 1 violations
on the recruiting trail, and he is just lifted up and celebrated at Kansas.
And he sat out last year's finals. He did not coach last year, if you guys remember, when Kansas won.
That's why I keep saying it.
Yeah.
And
he's got a lifetime contract now.
the blue
from
blood
Kansas.
stuff. That's that blue blood stuff. But at the end of the day, Big 12 has to protect Kansas. They have to protect Kansas. You can say nothing about Kansas because who's the number one team in the Big 12 and who has been the number one team in the Big 12 for a very long time?
For 40 years.
Exactly. Baylor may have had 1 year, I think 2 years ago, and I think insert random team here every 7 years. Kansas runs that division. You can't say anything about Bill Self and the Jayhawks. It's just like the SEC. You can't say anything about Saban and the Alabama Roll Tide. You can't say anything about them. You just can't. And that's why it's funny. But in the Big Ten, because we've been fighting for so long and there's no, it is what it is.
Mike G doesn't like that Neil Rule picks at us, by the way. Calls us clowns.
Who?
Neil Rule.
Oh.
Mike G says he doesn't like show-on-show crime. I just wanted to put that out there for everybody.
When's he on again?
We know how much Neil likes Michigan.
Why does Neil hate Michigan?
I don't know.
Why does Neil hate Michigan?
He hates Michigan and he thinks we're just part of it.
Come on, Neil.
I don't think he likes us anymore.
Last time I checked, this is a Power 5 conversation, so see your way out.
Yeah. Guys, I got to get a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Matt Broder, who had what we believe is an interesting conversation yesterday with somebody at the Big Ten office. We'll talk to him about that. He can clear anything up and give you his summary of that call. But first, a message from Planet Fitness.
Yes, Planet Fitness is the home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and I mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym with tons of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all this just for $10 a month with no commitment. With more than 50 convenient locations in the Metro Detroit area and thousands more throughout the world, there is always a Planet Fitness nearby. Visit your local Planet Fitness today to join or check them out online today at planetfitness.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports. Woodward and Main Street. The Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
When it comes to your pet, don't settle. Give your pet the best. Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available, and curbside delivery if you want it. Premier Pet Supply, give your pet the best. Check them out online at premierpetsupply.com.
Hey, welcome back. Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway. We got JB back. We got Parker here as well. Guys, let me bring in Matt Broder, our WSN Lions beat reporter, live from the Allen Park headquarters. But I want to take a pivot away from the Lions for a second and focus on kind of what the tweet was yesterday, Matt. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Matt was a former pitcher for the University of Michigan baseball team, so he's dialed in over there as well. Let me put the tweet up here. I spoke to a director-level employee of the Big Ten Ten Conference today, who indicated that a major shakeup is expected prior to the national championship on January 8th, 2024, if not sooner, due to intensifying pressure from member schools. Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh or Tony Petitti could be out of a job. This is a developing story with deep implications for college football. Matt, what can you tell us?
Hey, this is just heating up. Obviously, all the talk about the Michigan sign stealing scandal over the last couple of weeks, and then before the Penn State game, the suspension of Jim Harbaugh just really ignited the fire on this. And it seems to me, from this conversation I had, it seems to me that the Big Ten and the relationship with Jim Harbaugh and Michigan is really at a bad place right now. And things are about to come out. This is now going into the court system, so there's going to be some evidence coming out both on Friday and over the next couple of weeks. So it's expected soon. There's going to be some action, both positive and negative for some people.
What did this person say to you yesterday about this whole situation? Like tone, like what can you tell us about the conversation? Just did he believe Michigan's in trouble? Did he believe that Tony Petitti isn't gonna be long for the job? Like, what was that all about?
You know, the theme of it was basically that these two guys at the top that represent their own organizations, Tony Petitti representing the Big Ten and Jim Harbaugh representing the University of Michigan, they can't coexist together. There's too much friction right now. The pressure that was put on from Big Ten members to Tony Petitti to take action on Jim Harbaugh before the NCAA came out with their findings, with their ruling, before Michigan had a chance to respond to that. That led to this mess. It really, I believe, this all took a turn when they decided to suspend Jim Harbaugh at the timing that they did on Friday afternoon while he was on a plane, Veterans Day. It was clear that they were acting a little bit questionable. So Michigan just started to get to work, and they hired one of the largest law firms in the country. They actually have 3 different law firms representing them. One of the largest in the country, one of the largest in Michigan that's located in Birmingham, and a very powerful law firm in Ann Arbor. So they're putting all their resources and assets into this. But what the real problem is, the Big Ten members who were pressuring the Tony Petitti in the Big Ten to take action, this now turned on them in a way that I don't think they expected. I mean, when was the last time we've talked about the sign stealing or we've heard Connor Stallion's name? The narrative right now is about how the Big Ten took wrongful action or they didn't allow due process. It seems like a mess over there. Really, the tone in that building, they're getting all new pressure from Big Ten members. And I say that coaches, ADs, and presidents. And it's the presidents that would be the ones responsible for removal of Tony Petitti should that happen. They're just not happy with how this narrative is flipped. Michigan seems somewhat like a victim. And if they had just waited for the NCAA findings, this all could have been avoided. And they probably would have been in the powerful stance against Michigan. But right now, Michigan seems to hold some new power.
Hey, Matt, great job, by the way, on the story. I hope you can even dig further. And, maybe we'll make you our Michigan beat writer as well by the time this is all said and done. Hey, I got to ask you, if Tony Petitti had to do it again, do you think he would have did it differently?
Yes, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I think this is a case of and he's a very smart, experienced man. This is his first time doing this job. I believe he's a Harvard Law School grad. He's a smart guy.
That don't mean much.
Doing this job. Right.
That don't mean much anymore.
Michigan's the Harvard of the Midwest, right? So I do believe he would do it different. It's, as Michigan people, you probably can admit there was a lot of negativity, a lot of evidence that was pointing in the wrong direction that the NCAA was starting to come out with. But at the same time, none of it connected it to Jim Harbaugh. It just wasn't done. There were so many more things that could come out, both positively and negatively for Michigan, that if he would have just waited, if he would have pushed back on the pressure he was getting, this all would have been handled a little bit different. But they decided to suspend him before the Penn State game. while he was on a plane. It turned into a whole mess at that point.
Yeah, we're going to start talking about the Lions, but last thing for me on that situation, I don't think he would have done any different. I think this is a situation where he was coming in from Harvard. I think he thought he was a big man on campus. And what do people do when they go in certain scenarios by themselves? They look for the biggest guy in the schoolyard, try to fight that guy so they can get that type of credit and that type of cachet. I don't believe that it was only the little 13 that influenced him. I think he wanted to make his mark. I mean, this is the Big Ten. Michigan is the brand in college football. I think he wanted to leave his mark, and it's going to cost him. Let's switch to the Lions, man. You're down there in Allen Park. They just came off one of the biggest wins of the season, probably the biggest win of the season for the Detroit Lions. Just what's the energy like around there? What's the energy like from the time you walk in to the time you see players? What's their energy like?
Oh, it's great. It's energetic but focused at the same time. Like, I know a lot of us talk about the weak schedule that the Lions have coming up. But from talking to Dan Campbell earlier today in his press conference, from talking to Antoine Randall-El, who came right after him, they're as focused on the Chicago Bears and think are treating them as if they're a Super Bowl winning team. They know how many weapons they have on offense now. Justin Fields is likely coming back, and despite the struggles at the beginning of the season, they know that those weapons can come together at some point. They have no idea. Justin Fields ran all over the Lions one of the games last year, so they're not taking them lightly. The energy is up. It's ready to go. They're shooting for this 1 seed. There's no talk about the 2 seed. Actually, there's no talk about the 1 seed, but they're shooting to win all the rest of their games to set themselves up in a position to have home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Hey, Matt, did you lay eyes on Bruce Irvin today at all?
I haven't. So we're going in the locker room after this call. We're going from 3 to about 3:45. So we snuck this in before. Even my our interview rooms that I'm normally at inside are all taken up right now. So I'm going to find him. And Dan Campbell did say they worked him out yesterday before they signed him. He said he's got like superhuman genes. He's just a beast of a man. He's not in game shape yet, so he's not going to be playing this weekend. They got to get him acclimated. He's a 36-year-old veteran, but they have high hopes for him, and we'll learn a little more over the next couple of days how they're going to use him, but they liked what they saw yesterday enough to sign him to that contract.
Well, get inside, Matt. We really appreciate you joining us for a couple of minutes here. We absolutely appreciate it, and we'll be looking forward to tonight, 8 o'clock, Woodward Nights.
Yes, sir.
Matt
Always good talking to you,
Broder
Matt.
And Booner and Broder. Woodward Nights.
See you,
8
Matty.
o'clock. Thanks, Matt.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
it, buddy. So a couple of things about that.
How good is that guy?
He's great.
Definitely
We
good.
absolutely love Matt Broder.
A1.
Yeah, it's interesting too because we'll talk to Dan Miller coming up top of the hour as well. But Bruce Irvin, it feels like there are high hopes for this guy, and I'm sitting there saying to myself, why wasn't he on a roster? You know what I mean? Like, we talked to who did we talk to a couple of weeks ago? Rabbit.
Yep. Janoris Jenkins.
Janoris Jenkins. Thank you guys very much. He's an older player, like kind of sitting there on the sidelines, not doing training camp. He's not going to play the first half of the season, but he'll come in and be a good rental. It's interesting to see what Bruce Irvin's deal was. You know what I mean? Like, if he was just sitting there waiting for the right team and the right phone call, if he's had a couple of options so far this season, just a really intriguing player, I guess.
Bruce Irvin was with the Seattle Seahawks. He got drafted the year I was there, so I met him when he got drafted, and Dan Campbell was right. He definitely is, a freak of nature in terms of his strength, in terms of his speed, in terms of how he gets off the ball, off the line of scrimmage. So he definitely is a guy that could make those type of plays back then. Now you just want to know where he is. Ryan, you asked the question, where is he at? What was his deal? Like, sports is not about old guys anymore. Like, sports, they have stayed away from, especially the NFL, the NBA. You look at the NBA, man, you look at the bench. Oldest guy on the bench is going to be about year 9, year 10, year 11. In certain cases, you got LeBron and KD and guys like that.
Udonis Haslem is not at the end of the bench
Not anymore. He's not doing it anymore. I mean, you look at the Lions. The Lions are a young team, and they don't want to integrate a lot of time with older energy. They like the energy they have now. How long did it take D-Hop? How long did it take D-Hop to get on the team? And you're talking about one of the best guys to do it in the last 25 years. They just don't like the older energy. But when I laugh about it, it lets you know that they wanted to make a move on that defensive line before the trade deadline. But the key was right player at the right price. And they couldn't find that right deal where they felt like it was the right price for the money. So they didn't make a move. But they know they needed one. And I think that Los Angeles Chargers game, you look at it, They looked at that and said, we got to make a move. We got to make a move. What's out there? What can we see? And that's why they say, hey, he's not playing this week. We want to see, can we get him there? He may get cut before next week or the 2 weeks after that. They want to see if they can take what he has now and being in shape and turn it back into some NFL shape, because he did have 3.5 sacks last year for the Seattle Seahawks. You don't need him to come in and be a game record. You just need him to come in and be a guy who can switch, change the pace. That way you get some fresh snaps for Aiden Hutchinson, guys like that. You want to see. The trade deadline, they want a defensive lineman.
Hey, it's a free shot.
Yeah.
Every Tuesday you
Doesn't
could
cost
expect
you much. Yep.
you could expect something like this every Tuesday for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
That's when they're making their moves. Like Braylon said, he hit it on the head. It didn't work out for trade deadline. They probably were out there heavy to try to get somebody.
You know what? They probably were, but in this case, they're not giving anything up. They're not paying this guy. If it doesn't work out, it's fine. It's like you kick the tires on this guy. And not only him, but they did bring in Michael Schofield yesterday as well, the former Michigan Wolverine offensive lineman, 8 years in the league, decent player. I think he won, did he win a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos?
I'm not sure.
I mean,
in 15.
Yeah,
No.
I think he did as a rookie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When they beat Cam.
Yeah.
They beat Cam Newton.
Exactly. So, this is a player that add depth. These are depth guys. Something happens, fine. I'm not expecting anything from Bruce Irvin.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, I think, see 55.5 career sacks and they think this guy's going to come in and be an absolute wrecking ball. I am not thinking that. I'm thinking 0. And then you can surprise me.
Correct.
But I do think this is a message to the rest of the guys on the team. Josh Paschal, Romeo Okora, Julian Okora, Charles Harris.
Bugs.
Bugs is interior line.
I know, but still, wake up.
Just all these guys on the edge that are not doing their job.
This is funny. It's funny that you bring that up, because it was always funny when we see those Tuesday, because the practices happen on Tuesday. Tryouts, they come in Tuesday, the day off, so players are at the facility, work guys out, and then you see where you go from there. It's always funny when you see a new guy after the trade deadline or during the end of the season pop up in the locker room, because you always pay attention to the position. You're like, ooh, linebackers ain't doing what they're supposed to be doing over there. That's why you brought another linebacker in. When it's your position, you're absolutely correct, Ryan. When you see your position, you're like, I got to tighten up. I got to make sure I'm on my stuff. So that's funny.
There was a time in football where in that time might even be now. I mean, C.J. Gardner-Johnson is about to come back as well. If you see him working out, lifting weights, saying time is ticking, it's only a matter of time. I think he's coming back shortly. Maybe he even comes back after the Packer game. After Thanksgiving game. But you could never have enough defensive backs. That was the saying.
He was shooting for first divisional round of the playoffs, remember?
Right,
He
exactly.
said, I'll be back for the divisional round.
Now we'll be back first week of December, it looks like. Yeah. But you can never have enough defensive backs. That was the saying. Now it feels like you can never have enough guys to get after the quarterback. You can never have enough defensive linemen. The Lions got like 11, 12, 13 defensive linemen that rotate in, rotate out, try to get to the quarterback. That's where the game is played right now, is trying to get to these guys, and the Lions have not had much success doing that. Sans the Raiders, when Jimmy Garoppolo was stuck in mud a little bit, and Alex Anzalone and Aleem McNeil got after him.
And that's what I was going to say, and that's why you talk about they've got all those different guys. But you look at the Seattle game, you look at the Chiefs game, you look at the Chargers game. Games when you're playing against teams that are going to be in the playoffs, they just cannot get to the quarterback. So no matter how many guys they got now, they got to find the right guys, or they got to motivate the right guys. You saw the San Francisco 49ers. They got either the best or the second best defensive line in football. It wasn't working for those guys early on in the season. What did they do? They went and got Chase Young. Chase Young had 2 sacks. So you got to always keep investing in that D-line. You're right, Ryan.
Sounds like Justin Fields is going to be back this week. What impact will that have on the Detroit Lions? We'll talk about that next. Dan Miller coming up in about 15 minutes. But first, a message from the Hamlin Pub.
Have you ever wanted a bar where you are a regular? That's the question we've been asking all week. We have just the place for you. Head to one of Hamlin Pub's 7 locations and experience where everyone is a regular. Whether you're enjoying half-off pizza or game day specials for Michigan and NFL games, Hamlin Pub is the place for you. Visit many of Hamlin Pub's locations today and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
How would you like to win a $100,000 Vegas getaway? Take your closest friends and obviously live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Cintron Energy. You can drink it. You can live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win that $100,000 Vegas getaway at drinkcintron.com/Vegas and buy Cintron from your local Meijer. Cintron is the healthier energy drink with great taste. Look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself with Cintron. So go to drinkcintron.com/Vegas for that $100,000 Vegas getaway.
You know, the Lions have not played a division game since week 4 against the Green Bay Packers. That is their one and only time they played a division game on the schedule so far, and they've got 5 of their last 8 games against divisional opponents, 2 against the Bears, 2 against the Vikings, and 1 against the Packers on Thanksgiving Day. This week, they will play the Chicago Bears at home. Believe it or not, I was just doing my research for the game earlier this morning. The Lions actually have a winning record against the Bears at home. You wouldn't think that, would you? I would think that the Lions had a losing record against every...
Yeah.
Like
they've been chopping away. Little by little, these last 10, 12 years, they've been chopping away, little by little. But the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears and the Vikings have owned the Lions in the all-time series.
Yeah, the Lions' home record, though, 47-44-1. They are 30 games under 500 on the road against the Bears, and that's where the difference comes in. But the Lions have had success against Chicago at home.
That would make sense to me. I mean, the Bears have gone through rough periods just like the Lions have gone through rough periods. I mean, in the 90s, the Bears weren't particularly good, and the Lions were making the playoffs, every particular year. So I think they're a team that just, at home at least, they trade wins and losses, and I think the Lions are able to get the Bears, obviously, to 2 and 3 more wins.
And Dan Campbell was adamant today that the Lions have to play their best game. And you look at the records, you see, Detroit sitting there at 7-2 and the Bears sitting there at 3-7. You feel like it's an automatic win. You don't want that feeling to creep in to the players at all. It's a 9-point spread, one of the largest spreads on the board this week. It just feels like you could show up and play, and Dan Campbell was adamant at the podium today. This is a good football team. They play hard. They play together. The record notwithstanding, but you got to show up and play a game. I feel like these are tough games to play as a player. As a player.
Yeah, they're real tough games. When I was playing for the Jets, the team that would be like that for us would be like the Miami Dolphins. For some reason, Miami Dolphins, we just could never get 2 wins over them. But sometimes they get 2 wins over us, and we knew we were a better team. I think sometimes your vision is so outside your conference, especially once you become like that team where you're 1 and 2 or 3 in your conference. your views start to get outside your division. You're like, I'm not worried about the Packers. I'm not worried about the Bears. I'm not worried about the Minnesota Vikings. You start to think about the 49ers all the time. You start to think about the Eagles all the time. You start to think about seeing the Seattle Seahawks in the playoffs and how that's going to be. The Dallas Cowboys enter to your mind. But you got to always take care of the division first. That's what I learned when I was with the Jets. That's what I learned when I was with the 49ers. Take care of that division first. So they got to make sure that they're keeping the eye on the prize. One game season at a time. And Dan Campbell, I think, is definitely focusing these guys one game at a time. We're not at Dallas. We're not thinking about the 49ers. We're not thinking about the playoffs. We're thinking about the team in front of us, which is a divisional rival, Chicago Bears.
Hey, division games, man.
Yeah.
That's what you. Last year they had one loss, right? This year, we all predicted maybe they're going to lose a game here. Maybe they're going to lose at Minnesota. But that's it. You got to win these games that are set up for you. The Bears' offense is not what the Chargers had, and the Packers after them, they're certainly not what the Chargers had thrown at you. And you already beat the other team in the division. So just go out and knock these games off, man. You got no choice but to just move forward.
Last year, the Lions, 5-1 in divisional games, and that's part of what got them to 9 wins. Had a winning season, and most years, if you go 5-1 in your division, you're going to win that division championship. Last year, that wasn't the case with Minnesota winning 11 one-score games last year. That was unheard of. But at the same time, I think this is a game that you really get a sense that you can absolutely bury these old demons too. These old demons as a fan base. Because the Lions are going to beat a team that shouldn't beat Chargers or Kansas City, and they're always going to lose one. They should lose. They're always going to lose one. This would be that game. Yeah. Under those circumstances,
I think did we have him losing to the Bears?
I did not. I had him going 6-0 in the division.
I had him losing to the Bears in Chicago.
Okay,
just a rant. But before everybody trips out there, I had him win 13 games before the season started. Yeah, Ryan. They've done everything almost to show you guys that they're no longer the same old Detroit Lions. They win primetime games now. They win on the road. They win when they're favored. They win when their back's against the wall. They come back and win games. They've shown you everything that you need to see. They finished last year 8-2, and everybody said, hey, that was last year. What can you do this year? They brought that same energy into this season. They went on the road and they beat the Super Bowl champs and the Kansas City Chiefs. They've done everything that they've needed to do and show you guys, except one thing, and it's what you just said. Bury the teams in your division. We don't think about them doing anything. We talk about 3rd and 2, you know you're going to get it. 4th and 2, you know they're going to get it. Go on the road and play in prime time, you know they're going to win. Now this is the last thing. Bury your divisional opponents. You're better than the Chicago Bears. Don't let that little loss seep in. You're better than the Minnesota Vikings. You're better than the Green Bay Packers. Bury your division. I think that's the last thing they got to do besides obviously get to the playoffs and get that win.
And I'll tell you, one of the things that this team has not done well, and I think everybody fully expects Justin Fields to play this week. At least that's what Dan Campbell said at the podium today. They were going to prepare as if Justin Fields was going to play in this one. They have not performed well against mobile quarterbacks.
In Michigan.
Even if you don't believe that they're going to lose the game, this is a really good week for the defense to get a look at maybe what they would see in the playoffs against a Jalen Hurts. Heaven forbid they get to the Super Bowl and play a Lamar Jackson. This is a really good look. You can get some good tape out there and see how you're doing against this guy who runs the football a lot.
Yeah, he definitely runs the ball a lot, but having to see him pass and run at the same time and do it kind of like Lamar Jackson. But they got to just keep him on the inside. The thing with Lamar Jackson, everybody was scared of him running, so they tried to put him in the box. But now, under Todd Monken's offense, he's actually a better player from the pocket. Justin Fields is definitely a guy that needs to get outside the pocket and make plays. So if you keep him in the pocket, that's where you're going to beat him. Don't allow him to get outside and start creating long runs, touchdown runs, and don't blink and you're like, wait, why are they up 10-3 on us? Don't allow him to get out the pocket because he hasn't proven as an NFL quarterback that he can throw on the run.
Hey, Pro Football Focus, they focused on the Lions this week. They named them the #1 offensive line from last week going forward. Look at these guys. This is the reason that they're able to run a 75-yard run. This is the reason that Jared Goff doesn't have a sack against him or not even being touched last week against the Chargers.
Glad you mentioned that.
Hats off to these guys.
Glad you mentioned that. The Lions lead the NFL with 49 plays of 20-plus yards this season. 41 of the 49er passes. You know why?
Wow.
Those guys.
There you go.
Those guys right there.
Yes.
The number 1 ranked offensive line according to Pro Football Focus. That is why.
That's great.
Jared Goff has time. That is why receivers have a chance to win their one-on-one matchups, run their routes, get clean, and everything else. I mean, that is a stat. You think about the Miami Dolphins. Think about the San Francisco 49ers. It's the Detroit Lions who have more plays in the NFL in 2023 of 20 or more yard gainers.
Man, when Brian Baldwin had this breakdown yesterday, we were watching. And one thing I noticed and I talked about was just the movement of the offensive line. Those guys move very well, and you're able to do a lot of things when you can get guys that can move at that size. You know, we're not talking about tight ends. We're talking about guys that are 330, 340, upwards of 315. Those guys moving like that definitely allows you to be able to do multiple things and give multiple looks with your offense. That's why you get able to see David Montgomery cut back for a 75-yard touchdown, or Brock Wright, or insert play here, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Those linemen, not only are they big, not only are they stout, they can move, which is why they're having that success too.
Last night I had a chance to. I went back. I watched the second half of the Lions game, and I watched the second half of the Broncos and Monday night game. That's what I did last night.
Sick.
I just want to tell you, I was just smiling ear to ear watching that Lions offense. I couldn't stop. I called Kathy in. I'm like, Kath, come here, look at this. And she watched the fourth quarter with me.
I love it.
And then I'm like, I want to show you how the Seattle game ended, because the Denver game ended on Monday night, because she fell asleep as well, and she likes to know what the hell's going on.
Sure.
So we watched the fourth quarter of that game, and a lot of fourth down plays. And there's no way, as a fan of that team, I'm comfortable with those teams going for it on fourth down. But going for it on fourth down as a Lions fan, I'm in total lockstep. You got 4 downs to make 10 yards. I'm all in, Dan Campbell. Do what you want. I'm not going to bitch if you don't kick a field goal or if you don't punt. I'm in, man. I'm in.
Yeah, I think he's at the point now where he's gotten it at such a high frequency, or at a good clip. He's gotten it enough to where we don't need to worry anymore. Like when he's going for it, like there's no need there's no longer a need to worry anymore when you see him going for the fourth, or you see a trick play or things like that, because he's gotten it at such a rate. He's had so much success, and success enough where we're winning games off the success of these plays. No longer when they go for it, or no longer they try a trick or anything, should anybody say anything if they don't get it. There shouldn't be a gasp. There shouldn't be a, man, dang, why did they do this? Or, no, you don't. No. You're past that point. He's done it at a high enough clip to where we should be okay. If they don't get it, we shouldn't trip, because we didn't trip in Kansas City. We didn't trip at Los Angeles. Got to give them the credit they deserve on that. No more tripping when they decide to go for it. If they don't get it, don't trip.
No doubt about it. Guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will be joined by the voice of the Detroit Lions, Fox 2 Sports Director Dan Miller. We'll talk about week, what is this? Week, what is 11. This? Week 11?
Yep.
Week 11?
Yo, 11.
Week 11.
Week 11? Where in the world is this? Week 11?
Bro,
Jesus.
We're at the end of November already.
Oh, my God.
We're getting...
First, a message from Feldman.
Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer with 18 locations. There's a Feldman dealership near you or in your backyard. All you got to do is go to feldmanauto.com to see. Since 1996, Feldman Auto has driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience. It's called the Feldman Advantage. Do yourself a favor. Take advantage.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy? It's Planet Fitness. Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests, for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Gabby is a a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Hey, let me tell you about Outdoor Equipment Company, the official outdoor equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan-grown, family-owned, bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, even weed whippers, Liberty trailers, Generac generators. You got to have one of those in Michigan in the winter or the summer. Or the fall or the spring, actually. Liberty trailers, Generac generators, SnowX plows and salters. Outdoor Equipment Company has it all. You could buy it, you could rent it, 0% financing, delivered to your doorstep. OutdoorEquipCo.com, OutdoorEquipCo.com. Hour number 2 of the program here on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon in Detroit. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway. We got JB, we got Parker as well, and we've got the voice of the Detroit Lions, Fox 2 Sports Director Dan Miller joining us now. And again, you can watch us live each and every day at 2 o'clock on the Fox2Detroit.com and the Fox Local app. Dan, how you doing, my friend?
What's up, fellas? How are you?
Hey, Dan.
Doing good, Dan. I'll tell you, before we look ahead, look back at that game against the Chargers, man. Was that one for the ages or what? What an exciting game to watch.
It was exhausting.
I can tell. I just have to say, I just love the camera in the booth.
Yep.
Yeah. When the Lions put that out there, Dan, it is great. I don't know how you feel about it. I love it. It is so good.
It's a little weird. I feel like people are kind of behind the curtain there, and it's, you don't think about it during the game. You don't even realize it's there, and then you kind of look back afterwards, and you're like, I did that. And it, but I mean, that's always kind of the way I've been because I can't stand still. I was talking to Jason Horvitz, the Raiders guy, and he's like, I'm the same way. I got to talk with my hands. I'm jumping up and down and things like that. And it's just kind of the way it is. But no, it's listen, the fans enjoy it. Seemingly, I get
the players love it too, by the way.
Yeah, I've had some guys come up and talk about that. And look, that's ultimately, you're doing it for the fans, and that's everything I do is to bring the game to them. And if that's another way to do it, that's great. And look, it only works if they're winning, and that's why it's working right now. So it's fun, and it's also cool because people get to see that there's other people in the booth that are really, important in everything we do, and that's been nice too for people to see that.
Absolutely great to see my main man Mike Bratta in there. Dan, I thought last week it proved that this football team can win any different way. You want to have a shootout, they can win. You want to have a knockout fight like Tampa Bay, they could do it that way too. How did you characterize it?
Yeah, and that's a different way for them to win. I think that's a good point because if you think back to like both Seattle games last year and this year, the Miami game last year, the Philadelphia game last year, those were kind of shootouts, and they came out on the wrong end of those. And this was one that they ultimately won. And, somebody pointed out to me that they had given up touchdowns on their final 5 possessions to the opposition. I don't know how many teams in NFL history can say that they won giving up 5 consecutive touchdowns to close a game to the other team, but they figured out a way to do that. Inside that is, some defensive questions that you obviously have. But look, this league is about finding a way, regardless of what the situation is and what's presented to you. If you have to do it on offense, you do it. Special teams, you do it. Defense, you do it. And it's pretty rare that you're going to have all 3 clicking on all cylinders. So they just found a way with 2 out of the 3 working at a high level in this game to win it. So, yeah, I mean, look, Ryan, every game that you win is one you put in your back pocket that you can lean on later and say, we found a way to get this done, whether it's a tight defensive game, a game you have to come from behind in the fourth quarter where you find yourself down or whatever. Everything, and in particular for a team that's got so many young players, I think it's just really important that they understand the many different ways that you can get a game. So when you find yourself there in the fourth quarter of a game, you're comfortable.
D-Mills, talk about that offensive line, man. They were ranked Pro Football Focus #1 offensive line in the league right now. Just talk about the difference in when they're all in there. You see Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, everybody's having success. Jared Goff, that offensive line, how important are they to the success of the Detroit Lions?
Yeah, didn't like seeing Jonah Jackson not at practice today, according to some of the guys that were tweeting. I wasn't out there today, but a number of guys said he missed, so we'll see what's up with him. But look, Braylon, it's the face of the team.
Yeah.
It is what they've built this team around. There's 3 #1 picks on that line, and they have put everything into it. And an All-Pro who was a third-round pick, Pro Bowler, I should say, that was a third-round pick. And look, Graham's a former draft pick there as well. So it is what makes this team go. And it's what's given this team balance really for the first time since Barry was there for any consistent period of time. And it's allowed Jared Goff. I mean, guys, look at that last play on 4th down. Look how long Jared had, because he had to go through his progression and come back again. And it's an extra beat in there that line gave him. It's not on rhythm. It's another beat that he needed to throw that ball and complete it to Laporta, and that's that offensive line. And man, when they're clicking, I told somebody the other day, it's like you're walking into the party with the baddest dude in school and nobody's going to mess with you. And I think they just feel like when they walk on the field with that group intact, they have a ton of confidence.
You brought up Jared Goff playing behind this offensive line. We talk about him being a quarterback that you can win with. That's been the kind of adage for Jared Goff since he was with the St. Louis Rams and then the Los Angeles Rams. But he's starting to turn into that quarterback that I think you can win with. But because of as well, you talk about the audible to play for the 75-yard touchdown, David Montgomery. I think he started to take that next step, Dan. Am I seeing this correct?
Yeah, I do, and I think really you can go back to last year when he, went on that long run without any interceptions. And I think the biggest thing that Jared does that is so impressive is now that this offense is built out and you have a ton of different weapons that can work, he just takes whatever the defense gives him, and they got to pick their poison. I mean, look at that final drive. First play, final drive. At some point you're going to need probably a chunk, and they get it on the first play, and they get it to Khalif Raymond. And, that's the kind of thing that used to happen to the Lions. They'd be in a tight game, and all of a sudden the number 4 receiver on the other team, rips off some big play. That's a backbreaker, man. And Khalif, as people saw, is lightning fast. And people saw that down the left sideline. And they have a ton of trust in him. And I asked Jared on Monday, I said, when you broke the huddle, did you think that's what was going to be open? He said, yeah, I did. They really believed that was going to free him up. And once he had the football in his hand, he was off and running it. I just think, look, Jared's playing at an extremely high level. There's very few quarterbacks since the middle of last year that are playing better than him. It's a handful at most, and most of them are probably just holding court with him and staying even. He's not. They're not winning with him. They're winning because of him in a lot of cases.
Yes.
And that's a huge thing for this team. And he's playing with a ton of confidence right now.
Hey, Dan, you think Dan Campbell learned a little from that Seattle game, took it into this game? Let's face it, we all wanted them to go for the win against Seattle, and the way they settled for that field goal. This time, he's like, I'm not giving this team back the ball. Is that something that he learned, or is that something that he just figured out in this game?
Maz, that's a good point, and I didn't like the clock management against Seattle, but I'm going to take you back further. I honestly believe that a lot of this is off that Minnesota game last year that they lost in Minnesota. Okay. And Dan Campbell, after the game, was very emotional, saying that's on me. He settled for, I think it was a 54-yard field goal instead of going for a 4th and 4 that could have iced the game. And at that point, he kind of gave up control of the game with the unit that I think that he trusts the most. And I think, and look, that's not to say that the Seattle game doesn't play into it. I just think that was such a discernible moment for Dan Campbell when you saw the emotion that he had, that he felt he had let his team down by, for lack of a better way of putting it, playing too conservatively and not putting the game in his guys' hands. I think that's what he did in this case. I think he knew he had a defense that was struggling. The idea of giving the ball back to Herbert was not enticing at all. And he trusts that offense big time. He trusts that line. He trusts that quarterback. He trusts the guys catching the passes. And he just, at that point said, we're not giving up control of this thing. If we're going to go down, we're going to go down because we didn't make a play, not because they did. And I think that that's ultimately what went into that. But I think to your larger point, yes, I think this is a growth in him that has been from experience that more often than not, I think if he's got the ball in his hands, he wants to try to finish that thing himself.
Absolutely. And how about the streak that they're on? A 15-4. 15-4 is top 2 in the NFL. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles and this team.
15 and 4.
15 and 4. 2 losses, 8-2, and now 7-2. It's amazing to me. And I told the guys last night, I went home and I watched the game again last night, and I'm sick. But I can't stop smiling watching that offense. I won't talk about the defense with you because I'm having a good time. But I'm having a great time, man. 15-4.
And a couple things there. I watched the game on the flight back again myself, and it was enjoyable. A little bit easier to watch it when you know the outcome, but I think it was. Look, what it tells you, Maz, is they're good, and this isn't a fluke, and they've done it over an extended period of time now. There's a lot of work left to do this year. They got a lot they have to keep doing, but it just tells you if they play to their capabilities and handle their business, that what they're capable of doing. But the cool thing within that is it's not just like they're winning at home. They're winning, at Kansas City, at Green Bay twice, at Tampa against a pretty good team. It's never easy to go all the way out to the West Coast and win a game. And look, that's a pretty good football team with a lot of good players on it that they just beat. They may be 4-5, but that Chargers team had won 2 in a row with a hot quarterback, and he figured out a way to beat them. So there's a lot to like about what they're doing right now. But I think the most important thing is understanding that you have to keep doing it, because the Vikings apparently aren't going anywhere, and winning that division is everything to get that home playoff game, whether it's 1 seed, 2 seed, 3 seed, whatever it is. They just have to keep grinding along and figuring out every week how to get it. And I think that's one of the things within this streak has been the consistency. Outside of the Carolina game, it's been pretty impressive the way that they've been able to week after week after week come out and figure out a way not just to win but to play pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Dan, Lions brought in a couple of vets yesterday. Bruce Irvin on the defensive side, Michael Schofield, the former Michigan offensive lineman, played for the Broncos for a lot of years. Bruce Irvin, what should reasonable expectations for this guy be?
Well, Campbell said they worked him out yesterday, and he looked good. He's 36. He had 3.5 sacks for Seattle last year. Before that, I don't think he had a sack since 2019. So he's played sparingly, but it's a free roll of the dice. It's a free look. He's on the practice squad right now. Based on what Campbell said today, he said he's not in football shape. I find it hard to believe that we would see him this week, but maybe they think he could play, 8-9 snaps, something like that. And that's probably what you're looking for, is no more than 15 snaps a game or something like that. And if he can be impactful on 2 of those, that's huge. If he can find some way to get to the quarterback, which he has historically been able to do. So, look, I don't know that I have great expectations for a 36-year-old guy that's coming in, after not playing with anybody this year and kind of jumping back into it. But there's no downside here for a team that needs a pass rush to see what he can do, get him out there and see what kind of shape he can get in. And look, Schofield, we've seen the value of veteran offensive linemen for this team, and you're getting down to some critical games here where to have a guy that understands what snaps are in critical situations and in big situations is a key thing. And in particular, not knowing what the situation is with Jonah, I don't know how significant that is or isn't. It just, the more guys you have and the more options you have, the better off you're going to be.
Hey, Dan, last one for you. It sounded like Justin Fields is going to be active this week. At least that's what they're planning for. And the Lions have had trouble with running quarterbacks. It feels like an automatic win, but Dan Campbell was like, hey, man, there's no such thing in this league.
Yeah.
Nah, man, there's no automatic wins. Look, this team, they've won 3 of their last 6, so they've kind of figured things out a little bit. He has given them problems. I think it's interesting, if you go back to the last game they played last year, the second game against the Bears, the Lions had a really interesting defensive alignment for a lot of that game. They had 5 defensive linemen on that line because of Fields for most of that game. And to take the run away, both in their running game and then with the quarterback as well. Be real interested to see if Aaron Glenn dials that up again, because we haven't seen a lot of that. Outside of that game against Fields, it looked like something they kind of cooked up just for him. I want to see if they do that again, but he's been a little bit different this year. He hasn't been running as much when he played. They've been trying, I think, to throw the ball more downfield and get some of these guys involved. DJ Moore makes a huge difference. He's a hell of a player for them. That's a great get. Cole Kmet is a big-time problem out there at tight end, so look, nothing's going to be easy about this game. In particular, trying to corral one of the most explosive quarterbacks in this league. I think the obvious thing you want to do against him is make him beat you throwing the ball, make him prove that he can do that, see if you can force him to make a mistake somewhere along the line. But he's an edge-of-your-seat guy, because on every third down he can break your heart if you leave something open for him. He's going to find a way to get to the sticks.
All right, Dan, thanks so much for the time, my friend. Check Dan out, Fox 2, Game Day Live, 10 a.m. on Sunday on Fox 2, the game after that. Dan, thanks so much, my friend.
Thanks, fellas. Appreciate you.
You got it. You got it. Have a great day. This game I feel a little some kind of way about.
We always do, don't we? I mean, we want it to be real, right?
I do.
Hey, 15-4.
Right.
They're all right. They're going to be fine.
Yeah, they are.
They're going to win this game.
I just don't feel like this is going to be another repeat 41-10 game like last year. I think they're going to have to go fight for this one.
They're going to have to earn it.
Hey, guys, I saw something just came across. The odds-on favorite, according to Bet Online, to become the next Cleveland Browns quarterback. You will not believe who it is. Is there any chance he comes back? But first, a message from Swiss.
Yes. Do you have football on the brain like us? Of course you do. Fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year has already been awesome. Fall is also a perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with the pros at Swiss Insurance. They cover us here at WSN, and they should be covering you as well. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at SwissINS.com, or as always, give him a call at 248-800-4177. Swiss Insurance.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new Down Home Comfort dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The Down Home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of Down Home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports. Woodward and Main Street. The Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live this Sunday for the official Lions VIP tailgate party located at Shed 5 Eastern Market. It's the party of all parties, 9:30 to 1. And remember, stops at 1 because you got to go watch the game and you can't do it there. But the Eastern Market will be popping. The weather will be nice. You can come down there and have a good time. Food, drinks, long drink, and even Woodward Sports Network. So come up, pull up on us, jump on the desk, get to talking to us. You never know who might be at Shed 5. Lions VIP tailgate sponsored by Bullseye Event Group.
Woodward Sports Network on a Wednesday. Hope you're having a great day. If you are watching on YouTube, hit the like button for us. Helps YouTube push our content out to more people. We'd love it if you could subscribe as well. Over 55,000 subscribers on this platform. Guys, news today broke, and this is why one of the reasons why you just have a hard time questioning players' toughness. Deshaun Watson was playing with his arm gonna fall off.
Yep, and a high ankle sprain.
And he's having season-ending surgery. So Deshaun Watson is out. Suffered a season-ending injury, a shoulder injury in the first quarter against the Ravens.
He went in and got it shot up and came out and played.
That's right. It's a displaced fracture in his right. I don't even know where that. It's in the shoulder. It's remember when Jesse Ventura used to do play-by-play with Gorilla Monsoon, and
the best.
Gorilla Monsoon would say, "Oh, he got hit in the sternum," and Jesse would say, "It's the stomach, Monsoon." All these big words. But Deshaun Watson out for the year now, and Cleveland is in a position to really do some damage in the AFC this year. They've got a tremendous defense.
Feel sorry for their fans.
I do too. And so now the question is, and by the way, guess who is in their training camp this year? Josh Dobbs.
Oh, yeah, this is right.
He was in camp with the Cleveland Browns this year.
It's an interesting situation for them, man.
Isn't it?
Braylon brought something up, but a guy should have probably waited a week before signing with a team.
Can you imagine Carson Wentz? If this happens now, because where Cleveland Browns are right now, their defense is the best defense in the league right now, and it's not even close. Myles Garrett is a guy that he should be in MVP consideration, but their defense is so good they're going to keep you in games, and they got offensive weapons. Kareem Hunt scoring touchdowns. You got Amari Cooper's having a decent year, and you got Njoku at tight end. You got a good offensive line. They got a good team. This would be a good place for a quarterback that kind of, I don't have to mess this up. It's kind of like the AFC version of the San Francisco 49ers to a certain extent.
So, according to betonline.ag, the odds-on favorite to be signed for the rest of the regular season is Tom Brady.
Wow.
Plus 300. That's 3-1 odds.
Jeez.
Tom Brady. RG3, number 2.
Oh, God.
He was in Cleveland.
Yep. And
4 years ago.
Number 3 is Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan out of the booth.
Out of the booth, Matt Ryan.
You wouldn't take a chance on RG3?
Joe Flacco is in there. Nick Foles is in there.
He can still run. I don't know if he can throw. That's the thing.
So, they've got guys like Joe Flacco, Trevor Siemian, Nick Foles, Matt Ryan. But number 1 on this list is Tom Brady.
Phil Rivers on there?
He is not on here.
Man, I feel bad. I do. The Browns were what a great game last week. Deshaun Watson leading them back. What? They have 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to get that win. And they were down big against that Ravens team. And, man, he was just starting to get going.
He was 1-9 in the first half, and he finished the second half 14-14, and he led them, and they ended up coming back.
Because he had a numbed-up shoulder.
It's just true.
Yeah.
But that's what it's also so dangerous, too, is because when you get those Toradol shots, you feel like Superman in the moment. It feels good. You go out there, you don't feel anything. But as it's beginning to hurt more, as it's beginning to tear more, as it's beginning to do more damage, you don't feel it until it's all gone. It's all relieved. So that's what was so dangerous about those things. You're looking back. I mean, we still would have done it. It was part of the game, but those things are dangerous for that pain that you can't feel until that shot wears off.
They said he would have wrecked his shoulder had he gone on, if he had taken one more hit to it. So That's it. We'll see what the Browns do. They got
There's nothing they can do. He's
Nope.
he's 245
they
guaranteed.
got P.J. Walker and what they got? The kid from UCLA.
Dominique Thompson's right. Dominique Thompson.
Dorian Thompson.
Roger
Robinson.
Thompson. There you go.
No way Tom Brady comes back, right?
No way.
No way.
No.
I'm in the no way camp.
No.
However, if there was a team to go back, now he hates the state of Ohio, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That in itself.
That in and of itself is a reason not to come back. But if there was a team to come back to, and I said this about last year about the Detroit Lions, like when you're Tom Brady and you've done everything there is to do in football, what else can you do? Well, you can go win a Super Bowl with a team that's never won a Super Bowl. That is... You know, these narratives, right?
Yeah.
These narratives.
That would be a hell of a story.
You need a story, right? You need a story. Well, this would be one hell of a story.
Yeah, problem is that offense isn't as good as he would need for him to have that success.
But it's a good offensive line.
They got one wide receiver. They got a tight end.
Yeah.
They got one wide receiver. They have a tight end that's good. And then you have a backup running back playing
Jerome Ford.
Exactly. Like, nah, you don't want to come back to that because all you got to do is double team Amari Cooper and then put 6 in the box for Kareem
That's what they're
Hunt.
doing now, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're struggling on offense. And they're legitimately struggling on offense. You know, Deshaun Watson, he moves a little better than Tom Brady does. You don't bring him back now, especially coming in mid-season rust. Nah.
Hey, I got some other NFL news for you as well.
Sit
Dolphins.
tight. We'll do that next. But first,
sit
yeah,
tight.
thank you, Tom.
We're sitting tight.
Sit tight. We'll
Yeah.
do that. Go around the NFL next.
That's
But
great.
first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts. Have been for over 90 years. You see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house? It tells the bad guys one thing:
stay out.
Whether
Sit tight.
you are sit tight, whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
The number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equipment Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Hey, gang, what about Les Stanford, Chevrolet Cadillac, Buick GMC? That's right. Les Stanford has added Buick GMC to their great lineup of vehicles. Located in Ferndale on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile, Les Stanford Buick GMC offers the same great service that customers have come to know and trust for decades at Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac, located in Dearborn and on Michigan Avenue, where they have been for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want. You need a car, just go to lesstanford.com, lesstanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
Yes, sir.
All right, Tom Mazaway, now you can sit up.
I am.
Instead of sitting tight, sit loose.
All right, fellas, back to the NFL. We go to Dolphins, and fantasy owners rejoice. Devon Achane is back this week. The running back, the rookie running back who took the league by storm. Been out the last month on the IR. He is back for the Dolphins. Braylon, that's a big That's a big addition right there.
Yeah, huge addition for him. You saw last game he was a part of. I mean, he had 240 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, this guy is a guy that can really go for this team. And they need him right now because the Dolphins are in this stretch run right now where they're the best team in the AFC East, and they need to make a run right now. They lost a couple. They've turned – but they're still right where they want to be. They're number 1 in the AFC East. They'll win that division, and then they'll go from there. So getting him back now is really good. This is that time of year, man. This is when you get into November, December. This is when you want to be at full power so you can see what you guys got for the playoffs.
Miami scores a crap ton of points at home, too, man. 70, 31, 42, 31. That is.
Say that first one more time.
70, 31,
70
42, and 31. Now, the Chiefs game is counted as a home game, but that was in Germany.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to count that one. When they play in South Florida, they break out that offense.
Who do they get this week?
The Raiders.
They should put 40 up on the Raiders.
Easy.
Yeah, 100.
And again, Antonio Pierce has got them believing again.
Still.
And they're back at 500. The Raiders. In the silver and black.
This ain't Journey, though. They better. This ain't Journey, though.
Hey, if it wasn't if the Jets hadn't lost these last couple of games close,
maybe number 1 division.
This next news would have really hit home, because Aaron Rodgers says that he is going to be back by mid-December. Mid-December, folks. That's a month from today.
Right.
I'll tell you 2 things. One, if he's coming, I'll still stand by my conspiracy theory. If he comes back in these 3 months, he never tore his Achilles.
What did he do then?
I don't know. I can't tell you that. I wasn't on the field, but there's no way he's coming back for 3 months. I don't care how much money, how much science you put into your Achilles. It's not 3 months. But if they wouldn't have lost, they're still in second place, man, in the division, I believe. I think they're still in second place.
They're 2 back in the loss column.
But they're second. I think they're second, all right?
Bill. Yeah, they all have 5 losses.
Yeah.
Well, Bills and Jets have 5 losses, and then
the Jets beat the Bills.
The Patriots
so they're ahead
are just,
of them. Hey, you never know.
I would love to see him. I would love to see him come back and.
You done messed up, Aaron.
But the Jets kind of make it close here for him to even take a chance.
The defense of the Jets are doing their jobs. I mean, that's one thing about Robert Saleh. You talk about like him getting fired and it's going to suck. He's a defensive coach. So when you look at a head coach, you got to look at what side of the ball are you good at. If you look at the defense for the Jets, every major quarterback they've played has had their worst game. Patrick Mahomes had his worst game. Justin Herbert had his worst game. Josh Allen had his worst game. You name quarterback that's in the top 5, they all had their worst game. That's Robert Saleh's side of the ball. So they're doing what they're supposed to do on defense. It's just that damn offensive side. I mean, when you draft Mekhi Becton and he keeps getting injured, you draft Zach Wilson during the COVID year. That was a horrible miss. And look, you're not the only person to miss, but some people were able to rectify the misses, like 49ers GM John Lynch. Yep. They messed up on Trey Lance, but they figured it out.
Lucky for Brian Greasy, they figured it out because he said, let's take a chance on this kid, Brock Purdy. Hey, you just brought up Tom Brady. Tom Brady lost 66 games in his career in 20 years with the Patriots. Since he left, the Patriots have lost 33 games.
Damn.
33 games.
It's incredible.
Half of what Tom Brady, more than half of what Tom Brady lost. And it's Bill Belichick, the word is out there. Pat McAfee show yesterday. He had on our guy, Dan Orlovsky. And Dan Orlovsky put the word out. Listen, I'm hearing it from lots of people. Pat McAfee says, yeah, I hear it too, that Bill Belichick and the Patriots will separate at the end of the year, and he already has a job lined up as a head coach.
Got to be the Giants.
A head coach and GM. I only think of 2 teams.
Giants
Washington
and Buffalo.
And the Giants. I think of Washington, and I think of the Giants.
I think of Buffalo. I mean, I'm just saying, just put Bill Belichick with Josh Allen in that system and kind of revamping that a little bit. That might be something. You think of Washington and the Giants?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't that be crazy?
I think of the Giants and the Giants.
The team he can't beat in the Super Bowl.
The 2 Bills?
Yeah, of course.
The team he can't beat in the Super Bowl, he finally comes home.
Well, that was his team. He won 2 Super Bowls with them.
The defensive coordinator or defensive
then they won the other 2
now.
against him, which was pretty funny.
Yeah, I know, right?
They won
he's
2
a
with
part
him,
of all 4.
And 2, he was a part of all 4. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, he got to do something. Because I think the big thing with the Bill Belichick is how he came out of when Tom left, like they still were playing that Bill Belichick football, and it was the last team kind of in the NFL playing that style of football. Veterans, a lot of older guys, wear you down, just make sure they don't beat themselves. Special teams, high-end stuff like that. They're the last team to really play like that. And once Tom left, it was not a sustainable form of football. Like, you couldn't sustain that style of play because it's outdated. It's old. Everybody was with the offense, the younger players, the faster players, the skill sets. That style of football has been dead. They just had Tom Brady. And even Tom Brady, if you remember, his last year going to the playoffs, he threw a pick six on his last play in the playoffs for the
against the Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee
I'll
Titans.
never forget it.
There it is. There it is.
I'll never forget it.
Why? Because you had the Patriots? Thank God you don't gamble anymore. That's all I got to say. Although you're hot right now.
Well, yeah, I'm picking because I'm not playing.
That's right. You're playing with house money, as they say.
Yeah.
Hey, I got one more for you.
When you're not playing.
Keep it on the Giants side. Tommy DeVito is the new starting quarterback for the Giants. Tommy DeVito, yes. Tommy DeVito
Any
lives,
relation to Danny?
No, but Tommy DeVito lives at home in Jersey, in Cedar Grove, with his mom and dad. And his mom and dad
God
do
bless
everything
him.
for him.
I don't have to worry about laundry, what I'm eating for dinner, chicken cutlets, and it's all waiting for me when I get there. My mom still makes my bed. Everything is handled for me.
Isn't that great?
I love it.
I love that.
Yeah, no, this is definitely great. This would be like playing in Michigan and then coming to like the Detroit Lions. Kind of like Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Aiden Hutchinson got drafted by the
It's
Lions.
great, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He lives right down the street. A lot of guys with the Lions live in Northville, where he's from anyway. So I mean, it would have been cool. Like I always, like part of me, I'm not gonna lie, part of me wanted to get drafted to the Lions. I know the Lions is standing third, but they are the home team. They had the number 10 pick. I was like, I could see myself playing here because I know Mom's is gonna have everything taken care of, and I know Dad is gonna take everything in the community.
That's
so
awesome.
I wanted to come here. Like part of me wanted to be a Lion.
We wish you were.
Yeah, it would have been dope, man.
Instead, you were lucky enough to go play for the Browns.
The Browns suck. Browns stink. Browns stink.
God,
It wasn't luck.
Let me get a break in and come right back. More from the NFL. We got lots more.
We got intern Alex.
Oh, we got intern Alex next. We'll do that, then we'll get back to the NFL. But first, a message from Big Boy.
All right, guys. Wintertime in Detroit is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Started off with a great breakfast. The stuffed potato pancakes are back, and those omelets, they're there as well. The lumberjack and the Santa Fe garden. Also, the new apple pie hot cakes are too good to resist. And now about a little lunch or dinner. The veal parmesan of the new Southern Comfort chicken bowl. And top it off with a great shake. They got the new one. It's called the gingerbread shake. Plus they got the old standbys. Vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, and Oreo. Everything at your local Big Boy.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy? It's Planet Fitness. Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Hey gang, are you tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merch? It's a new era in Detroit sports wearables, new designs, amazing apparel, and the ultimate swag. Check out Woodward Sports' latest gear at woodwardsports.com. Just click on the shop tab. Hoodies, tees, hats, all that guaranteed to turn heads. Get the latest designs today at woodwardsports.com. Click shop. Good stuff now for the holidays, too. Some really great stuff on that shop. I wear a ton of Woodward sports stuff, and I'm very particular about my athletic wear.
Right.
Very comfortable. Very comfortable.
Starter or Nike for me.
Absolutely. There you go. Hey, guys, let's head out to Ann Arbor now for our check-in, our Wolverine Wednesdays with intern Alex. This segment brought to you by our friends from Skinny Butcher. Hey, Alex, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, Ryan. Thanks
Hold
for asking.
on.
It's a beautiful day in Ann Arbor. Have unseasonably good weather, and I'm feeling pretty blessed because we really are right now in a golden age of Michigan football. We've won 25 straight regular season games, won 22 straight Big Ten games, and I want to lead off with a trivia question for you guys. Do you know who's the head coach the last time Michigan had 2 straight seasons with a top 10 road win?
Fielding Yost.
No.
A little earlier than that.
Oh, wow.
Bo?
Bump.
Oh, you said Bump?
Yeah.
Elliott.
Oh, you said Bump. Oh, yeah.
Wow, way back.
That was what Bump was. Bump was 1 year before Bo Schembechler.
Yeah.
Oh, side note, I gotta tell you something. I gotta snitch on somebody. Maz was just trying to replace you with Matt Broder as the Michigan sideline reporter. I'm just saying. I just saw it. I had to hit real quick. Maz was trying to replace you.
I was not,
but I
Alex.
had your back though. I had your back, man. Just want to let you know. I'm loyal.
Thank you. Appreciate
I'm loyal.
it.
I am,
Brother,
man.
Also a Wolverine and also went to Cranbrook as well.
See that? That's my guy
so
right
we're
there.
Good
Man.
replacement.
There we go, man.
Hey,
Never.
Hey, Alex, let me ask you about the atmosphere. I believe you said you went to State College to Happy Valley for the game on Saturday. What was that like? What was that atmosphere like? And just your experience down there.
Oh yeah, it was an absolute raucous atmosphere like Happy Valley always is. Beaver Stadium, one of the real cathedrals of college football.
Agreed.
And it's a Rector set, and it's built way better to keep the noise in. So it was really loud in the first half, but throughout the game, Michigan with their play calling kind of taking the crowd out of it, with the boring run plays, and Penn State's offense just not being able to find a rhythm, it really died down towards the end of the game and became more favorable towards Michigan.
Hey, I want to ask you a question. You just brought it up talking about Michigan running the ball 32 consecutive times in the second half. They didn't pass the ball except for once, and they got intercepted, but it was overturned because of a penalty. When you're watching this, how much of this was making a statement, this is Michigan, we don't need to scout ahead, and how much of it was, man, they got damn good defensive ends coming off that edge. How much of it was the statement? How much of it was the defensive ends?
I really think it was Penn State playing well, to be honest. Manny B is a great offensive coordinator. They have
Good
some
call.
great talents at DN and Chop Robinson and Adissa Isaac. And it was a tough day at the office overall for Michigan. On J.J. McCarthy's 8 dropbacks that counted his plays, he faced pressure on 5 of them, and it was really struggles from the tackles and Trevor Keaton on pass blocking. So I really like Sharon Moore's thoughts on the play calling, where if they have a clear advantage in one spot, we're going to go back to our bread and butter play. We've hung our hat on being a run-first team for the past 2 years, made college football playoffs like that, and I really love it.
Hey, Alex, talk to me about this weekend's game against Maryland. Feels like a little bit of a sandwich game, but then you throw in all the things that are happening off the field, and it just feels like what once might have been considered a sandwich game is like a, hey, let's go pour it on to these guys, too.
Yeah, I think Michigan's going to come out angry this week, once again, due to all the drama. On paper, this looked like it's going to be a really close game, or not close game, but a tougher matchup than one would expect. It's nice because they're very stylistically similar to Ohio State. They're a very pass-first team. They throw almost 60% of the time. But I think Michigan will do well because one thing is, Maryland is pretty ice-cold right now as a team overall. They started out 5-0, but they are 1-4 in their last 5 games. They've been outscored 158-96 in that span, and last week, they got their 1 win in that 5-game span, but it's 13-10 win against Nebraska despite them forcing 5 turnovers. So I really think Michigan is going to come out, get the passing game early again, get JJ some confidence back, try to save Blake and Donovan for the game the next week.
I talk about this is yesterday I asked Michigan legend Jamie Morris, I said, could Michigan win without Jim Harbaugh against Ohio State on the 25th of November? I believe that the TRR will happen, and I believe Jim Harbaugh will be on the sideline. Let's just say he's not on that sideline. How strong are you that Michigan can beat the Ohio State Buckeyes in Ann Arbor without Jim Harbaugh on that sideline?
I mean, it certainly wouldn't be ideal, but after this past weekend, I really think they can do it, because earlier in the year we saw a little step down from when we didn't have Harbaugh versus when we did, but we saw this past week when we were really the villain, we really feel like we have something going against us. Michigan came out angry and ready to play, and if they're able to do that on the road in a one of the most hostile atmospheres in college football against an elite defense, I have no lack of confidence that we can do that at home against our arch nemesis.
Talking to intern Alex, this is part of our Wolverine Wednesday segment brought to you by our friends from Skinny Butcher. Alex, last night the college football playoff rankings were released. Georgia overtook Ohio State. Ohio State is 2, Michigan at 3, Florida State at 4. How would you characterize, there's like 6 or 7 polls / rankings. This is the only one that has Ohio State ranked above Michigan. How would you characterize that? Why do you think that is?
I think that against Notre Dame is really just carrying Ohio State's resume. I think Michigan, people said we haven't played anybody, but Ohio State's best win was Penn State, and we beat them by, given us only 1 more point, but we beat them by more points and
Without a head coach
on the road instead of at home. So they're really just getting carried by that at Notre Dame win the whole time. And at least this year, I don't think it's going to be a political year where the loser of the game can get in the playoffs. But I'm just ready for in 10 days to go out there and beat them and just see them fall in the ranks.
Do you think if that happens, Ohio State fires Ryan Day?
I do not think they will fire Ryan Day. Well, Gene Smith is still there. I think he's a smart enough athletic director, even though he's on his way out. I don't think it'd be smart to fire a coach who had only lost 7 games in 4 years. However, sports aren't rational. Who would have thought Jimbo Fisher was going to get bought out this past weekend and have Texas A&M over $70 million buyout? So I don't think a loss to Michigan gets Ryan Day fired ultimately. But if they did, I think that'd be a terrible move by Ohio State long term.
All right, Alex, here's a serious question. The most serious question that we're going to ask today. When's the last time you've been to Zingerman's or Maize and Blue?
Last time I went to Zingerman's, I believe, was 3 or 4 weeks ago. My mom
There
came
we go.
for lunch, and we went out there. So
There we go. I miss Zingerman's, man. I was thinking about that randomly as I was looking at that Block M.
Let's get red on the
good
page.
Zingerman sandwich, man. Oh, man. I might have to go up there this weekend. I'm
You
thinking
gotta
about
get up
Zingerman's
there.
now.
Gotta get. Hey, Alex, before we get out of here, give me your 4 best teams in college football right now. If you had to vote right now for the 4 best teams, give me the top 6 teams. Who's on the outside looking in?
Okay, so if I was a committee and I was doing it on the resume in the season, I would go Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Washington 3, Florida State 4. However, if I was purely ranking it based on who I think the best 4 teams are in college football, so ignoring the wins and losses and all that, I would go Michigan, Georgia, Washington, Oregon in that order.
What do you think Alabama? What do you make of Alabama right now?
Alabama's really hot. They've been playing well, bringing on early as season goes on, but they just look so cold earlier in the season, and that offense can really sputter at times. So even though I would be scared if they beat Georgia and make it to the playoffs, that means they've really grown as a team and brought together. But they've just looked too boomer bust for me to really be confident in them.
All right. Give us your best guess. Jim Harbaugh coaches this week or does not coach this week?
I'm going to go with he does not coach this week. That's my best guess. But I think he will be back for the game.
All right, you got it. Check out our friends at Skinny Butcher. And, of course, Wolverine Wednesdays brought to you by Skinny Butcher. Intern Alex, Wolverine Wednesdays. We appreciate it, bud. Enjoy the games this weekend. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks, Alex.
All right, thank you. God bless.
You got it. You got it. Great to talk to intern Alex. Just a great guy, great kid. We love having him here. Absolutely. So knowledgeable. Absolutely. No doubt about it. Guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll finish it up. There is one thing I do want to talk about, and
something last night I wanted to talk about too.
Okay.
Something last night I want to talk about.
Okay, we'll let you talk about that.
Talk
too.
about that then.
But first,
You sit tight, though.
You sit tight.
Sit tight.
I got to do this. Let me tell you about our friends from Fairway Packing Company. For over 60 years, Fairway Packing has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry aged beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods on Mack Avenue. Grab and go steaks, or you can order online. Fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com.
Prime cut, aged, packed, sourced to perfection.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register to win a trip of your dreams, all expenses paid, a suite to the 2024 NCAA tournament. That's right, no expenses spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
All right, gang. Braylon, you want to go or you want me to go?
Mine's more laid back and funny. It's on you. What do you want?
Let me do this first. Okay. CBS mocked 6 quarterbacks in the first round. I just couldn't wait to get to this. 6 of them. Not 5, not 4, not 3. 6 quarterbacks in the NFL in the first round in the 2024 draft. And I'll tell you, it just goes to show you exactly the importance and how desperate teams are to get a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
That's as long as I could stretch.
And the Giants could basically well, Parker, it's in there. Okay, good. Well, the Giants, you got a $40 million a year quarterback right now, and Daniel Jones
42.
that you paid. And do you draft a quarterback if you're a top 3 guy there?
Yes.
How do you pass on Caleb Williams?
You definitely draft the guy. At the end of the day, this is one of those times to be like a winning franchise. Winning franchise is the San Francisco 49ers. They had Trey Lance. They gave up 3 first rounds to get him. He wasn't that. They realized he wasn't that. Then they went out and got other quarterbacks. They figured out other situations of who could come in. You can't stay with Daniel Jones at 42. You know he's not going to win you games. You know what he had enough of a sample size. Yeah. And then you saw with Brian Daboll on the sideline. So if you pass on a guy like any one of those 6, if you pass on, those guys are legit quarterbacks. If you pass on one of those guys to go with Daniel Jones, you're just telling yourself, my franchise is going to be bad for another 3 to 4 years. This is when you rectify that move. Sometimes you spend money to rectify moves. That's why you're an owner. That's why you have money. You got to make this.
Let me just say for you what the quarterbacks are. It's Caleb Williams, 1 to the Bears, Drake May, 2 to the Giants, and then we go down.
Another ACC quarterback.
Jaden Daniels, 16 to the Raiders, Michael Penix, 19 to the Saints, and I'm sorry. Oh, do we have it now? Okay. Bo Nix to the Giants. I'm sorry. I was looking at something different. Caleb Williams to the Cardinals. Drake May to the Bears. Bo Nix to the Giants. J.J. McCarthy to the Patriots. Jaden Daniels to the Raiders at 14. And Michael Penix to the Vikings at 20. 6 quarterbacks in the first round. Incredible.
Yeah. How many of them will be good?
Caleb Williams is going to be good. Drake May has the potential to be good. Bo Nix is one of those situations where, depending on the right, it's like those top two, I believe, will be good. Everyone under that, I think it's a situation they're in. I think Jaden Daniels might have the most hidden potential out of those people, though.
Well, let's see.
I think J.J. McCarthy is going to be the best of the bunch, and I really mean that. I think he's. And again, you can laugh at me all you want.
Well, I didn't say
not you.
I just said I said the most hidden talent.
Yeah. I mean, it's just this guy is good. He's 20 years old now. He is the closest thing to Joe Burrow that there is in this draft, and outside of Patrick Mahomes. And maybe even
Joe Burrow, in what regard though, Ryan?
Everything.
In what regard though? Like, we got a sample size of what Joe Burrow was in college. We saw the potential for what he's done in the NFL.
Offense too. You know, I mean,
but then how can you compare him to that if he's not? Well,
because
not the same quarterback.
Just because he's not asked to do it.
Well, he's got to win a national championship.
Well, he will.
Okay,
he will.
All right, good.
He
I'm
will
all
win.
for it.
Right. He is. This guy is everything you could ever want in a quarterback.
He's amazing, but I'm just saying, like Joe Burrow, I watched the things that he did that year at LSU. It's hard to even try to compare.
Well, yeah, Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase,
and I understand that, but it does. I'm just saying it's hard for me to see it.
Exactly.
Right.
It's just like, look, what's his name? Just got $100 million from the Green Bay Packers too.
Jordan Love.
Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary got $100 million. Michigan didn't ask him to do what the Packers asked him to do.
They did. He just didn't do it. He was he died down in the second half of games. Maurice Hurst was a better defensive lineman.
This is one I will go to my grave with.
Yeah.
JJ will be the best quarterback in this draft.
Is he staying or going?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. If you're a top 10 pick, I think you got to go.
Yeah.
If there's question, I can come back and make $5 million a year.
Then also it depends on where do you go, which is Ryan's favorite. Your favorite thing to ask. Where do you go? J.J. McCarthy gets drafted to a situation like the Patriots and what they were. It's like
if you're going to the Patriots with Ben Johnson, though, you're going. You know, I mean,
or if Jim Harbaugh goes to the Bears,
yeah,
there you go.
Right, no doubt, absolutely.
Bray, basketball, told you.
Sure, why not? Last night, Draymond Green, second time in the last 5 games. I mean, second time in the last 3 games, he got kicked out. But I actually support Draymond on this. I want you guys to watch the video. Take a look and tell me what you think about this. As Draymond Green chokes the doggone life out of Rudy Gobert.
Back 3. And so we're scoreless. We'll stay 0-0 the first 2 minutes. And then look at Klay Thompson and McDaniels. What is going on with that?
Him out. He choked him out.
Well, he pulled him off.
Choked him out.
He choked him out, but I'm here for it. Draymond has done a lot as it relates to extra things, if you want, little shoves, little jabs, kicks to the groin, and things like that. But last night he was defending his teammate. I mean, what is his role? Has been said by everybody on that team. He is the enforcer. He's the guy for Steph and Klay and Wiggins and all that. You grab Klay Thompson by the neck, he's gonna grab you. Plus, the biggest thing about that, nobody from the Minnesota Timberwolves helped Rudy Gobert. If you ever need to find out how somebody feels about you, if somebody on the opposite teams grab you by the throat and choke you out for 15 seconds and people are there and don't do anything, Ant-Man was there, did nothing. Cat was there, did nothing. Shoot, what's his name? Michael Conley, he's on the baseline. Nobody helped Rudy Gobert.
Why is that?
Because they don't like him.
Why?
They don't like him. I'm telling you.
Because he gave COVID to everyone a few years ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a major reason why. Like, he was very cavalier about that, and you saw what happened with the Utah Jazz. But it's deeper than that. I don't know. It's something. It's something that carries over because they didn't like him in Utah. You can see that people were never with him. They never kind of sided with him. And in here, same situation. It's nobody really helping Rudy Gobert. He's
screw you, Rudy Gobert.
Getting put in the camel clutch.
Hey, Pistons lost their 9th straight last night. They played hard. Big game for Bagley and Ausar Thompson.
They're terrible, man.
But Ausar Thompson, he's a baller.
Ausar Thompson.
He is a baller.
Ausar Thompson right now in the NBA is 4th in rebounds. And the people that are above him are 7'1", 7'3", and 6'11". And he's 6'7". He's number 4 in the NBA in most rebounds. I say that again. He's 4th in NBA in rebounds.
Troy Weaver, man, I said they got to win more than 20. If they win 25 games this year, you have got to look elsewhere for your general manager. You just can't do it. You pay the coach $155 billion.
Yeah, the double down.
You just got to do something.
Yeah, the big thing for me was the double down on Killian Hayes, beef stew, and then they let Sadiq Bey go. I get that, but that was the big thing. That was a miss. Then you double down on it. So, I mean, we still got to January, but I mean, like you said, if they don't hit, if it doesn't look good, Troy is. It's going to be interesting.
I mean,
hey, Duke knocked off Michigan State last night.
Michigan State looks terrible.
They don't look good. They do not look good.
Terrible.
They were the number 3 team in the country. They're 18 now. They'll fall out of the top 25 probably.
You know who's going in?
Michigan.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
Just a rough year for Michigan State.
Tom Izzo will bounce back.
I was just about to say this is November. We know when it comes to March, Tom Izzo's always finding his way into his position where you're like, damn, I didn't know that they were blah 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 blah. So this time of year for Tom Izzo, it's like this.
Doesn't it always feel though that like this is the most anticipated year for Michigan State basketball?
That's what we heard.
Since
this was supposed to be the one.
This is going to be the year that Tom Izzo wins his second national championship. Come in number 2 or number 3, the top 5 team, whatever, and they just 1 and 2 start the year. I mean, it just never goes smooth for them.
No,
early on, just never goes smooth.
But they're a team. They're a college. They're a university that thrives on what? They thrive on the comeback. They thrive on us against the world. They thrive on you just wait and see. So this is right up the alley. It just fits the mantra that they've been holding on to forever.
He should just become the president of the university.
There you go.
Full stop.
Yep.
Good way to end the show there, Maz. Bray, get us out of here.
JB, you get us out of here, man. What you got to say? I haven't heard from you today, man. You get us out of here.
All right. Well, this has been one great show from everyone around. I'd like to thank Parker over there in the TV booth, Uncle Maz sitting here on the couch, Bray, number 1.
It's me.
In Michigan. And, of course, the great Ryan Ermanni.
Oh, yeah. You know what time
it is. The great Ryan
Ermanni, indeed. And you know what? We appreciate you all for tapping in. We will see you all tomorrow for a Thursday show. See you later.
See ya.
See ya.